I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is a call special meeting with only one item on the agenda. I'd like to make a motion that we suspend policy 5.802 and accept the criteria for superintendent search as presented by TSBA. Is there a second?
Second.
Chad Howell seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? Then Shirley says we can have a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Oh, excuse me, her light is on.
Sorry. I guess I would like to amend it to change the language about the doctorate. Is that, am I looking at the right thing?
No, we're suspending the policy, what we talked about.
Oh, I just pulled it up and didn't see it, I'm sorry.
It didn't say it? That's not the right policy? Look and see if that's the right one. We just
You mean the
looked up the
brochure
policy
itself?
number, 5.80. We're suspending it entirely, remember?
Oh, what came up on my agenda was just search proposed criteria, so I didn't see, am I looking at the wrong thing?
We just, we look again and, actually, I talked to Jake just a few minutes ago, and he said I could make a motion just that the criteria be accepted by suspending the policy.
Then we can rewrite it after the fact.
When, okay, I thought that by suspending the policy, we'll be using the Tennessee Code annotated, TSB will put that out, and our policy will not.
So just go to state minimum?
It's just state minimums.
Can we add that to the motion?
Mm-hmm, sure.
Just what I'm looking at, there's no mention of the policy, like, on this document, so that's why I was confused.
I understand. When I got here and I pulled it up, I saw there wasn't a mention of the policy, so I called Jake. And then Shirley and I sat here and talked to Jake, and he said that he didn't think it had to be attached, the policy, but that we just simply put in the motion to suspend the policy and the policy number. And that would just, because the purpose of the meeting is to vote on the criteria. Maybe I'm not making myself clear.
I just really want us to be, like, correct, and I know that when we get into specially called meetings, we're not supposed to deviate from what's on the agenda, you know, so.
The very reason I called Jake,
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Maybe Jake should have listened to the agenda that time.
I did talk to him this afternoon.
Okay.
I've talked to him 3 times today, actually, so. He said that he thought that if what we discussed the other night was to suspend the policy, that we simply put it in the motion.
So will you restate your motion?
I move we suspend policy 5.802 and accept the criteria for superintendent search as presented by TSBA.
And what they presented was just the minimums of what the state.
They presented a list of criteria.
Okay.
That's the criteria. But on that was our policy for the qualifications. The motion suspends that, so that state minimum is what would be the qualification.
Okay.
Are we okay?
And if you'll look at the motion where you're gonna vote, it says that.
Yeah, reload it, refresh it, and it will.
Yeah, refresh.
Oh, okay.
I mean, which you guys know I have issues down here, so
That-
I don't know if it's just.
In the motion, is there anything about the,
The one I see.
that we would be using the state criteria?
Perhaps that needs to be included in
Put
it.
that in there, recommend suspend policy 5.802 and accept the state criteria for superintendent search as presented by TSBA, is that what you're saying?
That's not correct either.
I don't think so. We may need another motion.
think we're all wanting the same thing, just
I think
just
we're all
having
we
the
need to
correct
word it
wording. The correct
correctly.
wording is all.
Suspend policy 5.802, and use the Tennessee Code annotated minimum standard for minimum qualifications for superintendent, and accept the criteria for the superintendent search as presented by TSBA.
Well, how about if you leave what you already have there and then put, and the state, or whatever? You're putting that they're accepting what TSBA gave you, and you're also.
And the state minimum.
And the state minimum.
All right, I'm gonna withdraw the motion for the moment so that we can discuss this, okay, and I see lights on, so let me start with Mr. Fulbright.
Well, I guess part of my confusion, it sounds like some other people are having too. I'm looking at something titled Murray County Superintendent Search Proposed Criteria, which I assume came from TSBA. And it clearly says professional educator's license, master's degree in education, preferred doctorate, 3 years of successful experience in school administration. Doesn't say anything about that's our policy, but we're gonna go to something else. I guess I would feel uncomfortable saying we're accepting what they proposed based off the fact that's what they proposed. So I think that's where at least my confusion's coming in.
All right. Jake suggested we could either do it in one policy or two motions. One motion being to suspend our policy using the state minimum, then vote on the criteria based on the change we've made. David?
Okay, I'll bring my wording back up. So, based on the discussion the other night, we were basically voting on the brochure, and with the understanding that she was removing the language that referenced our policy. And at that, the state minimum is something we have to adhere to regardless anyway, so I'm not really concerned about restating that. We kind of have to do that. So I'm satisfied with the motion that was on the floor,
Okay.
personally.
All right, this is the criteria, okay?
Yes.
Right. Our policy will not be stated in this. This is what you're voting on, okay? The fact that she had ours in the larger report doesn't have anything to do with this. So.
That document is what we were.
Right, so really the motion that I made originally,
And it doesn't say that in there, does it?
no.
Well, I guess I'm just looking at what was on the agenda.
Yeah, it is a bit confusing, but the brochure itself, from what I understood, that piece of paper, as it's presented, is what we're voting on. And after my reading of it, it represents exactly what I'm looking for, so I'm satisfied with that.
But this one does have our superintendent be chief executive.
Yes, and based on the discussions the other night, again, if she didn't, I know it's short notice, I guess she didn't get us an updated version of that, but our discussions the other night where that part will be removed, we're voting to, set aside the policy tonight. It can't be in there, and I'm still satisfied with that's what was gonna be in there. But if we need a new motion, that's fine. If we need to strike that portion out, let me come up with some fancy wording if you want.
I think we all want to do the same thing, we just want making sure we. And I did feel like I was doing my due diligence, and, first, Jake said that he would come if necessary. I think, no, we talked about this. I didn't realize the way it was written on the agenda, and then I called him when I got here. So, he said you could do it at two motions, or just, actually, he worded the motion, helped me word the motion. What do you say, Mr. Howe?
I agree. I think we should just make it simple, do two motions. The first one we suspend, the second one we actually implement what we want into that brochure.
Okay, there's not a motion on the floor. Do you want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we suspend policy 5.802.
Second to the motion, all right. It's been, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Then Shirley says we can have a voice vote if that's all right. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is to consider the criteria. Is there a motion to accept the criteria, or I'll make the motion that we, accept the criteria as presented by TSBA? With the amendment. With the amended
Minimum standards.
with the amended minimum qualifications.
I'd be happy to state that, if you want. I mean, what I have is motion to approve the document as presented by TSBA without any references to policy 5.802. Are we satisfied?
I like that better. I remove mine and take yours. The motion's been made by Mr. Moore. Is there a second? All right, Ms. Parker has seconded the motion. Any discussion?
Ms. Shirley, would you like to clarify that to make sure we're on the same page? Sure. Motion to approve document as presented by TSBA without any references to the, to policy 5.802.
Without any reference.
Yes.
That sounds good.
Because other than that, I was satisfied with the document.
Okay, with, no other business, other than if you have not registered for one of the, excuse me, we need to. This is one of those fun meetings, isn't it?
Don't get your coat.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Okay, there are 3 more academies, the year, and I've spoken to most of you all about that, and Shirley will be glad to sign us up. There's one the 13th, one the 8th, and I know that there's 3 of us that are gonna go on June the 5th, so if you will let she or me know, then we will do that. We can get together and do whatever. So, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So, mate.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed?